I'm Kyle.
And I'm Bill.
In this video of Game Jumpers, we are going to discuss our top 5 games that we view need to be made.
These games are all our personal opinions, and would like for you guys to give us your personal 5 games in the comments below.
Our number 5 of the list is Portal 3.
Yeah, I love some Portal.
The game, being made by and developed by Valve, was released in a bundle package called the Orange Box. Very familiar with. That came out like with the 360 in 2007.
Alright, there's been a lot of rumors for Portal 3 over the last couple of years. A lot of fan art and stuff comes out on the internet, but there's nothing official. And the last Portal game, Portal 2, was made in 2011, 5 years ago.
Biggest reason we feel that it should be made is due to the fact that J.J. Abrams is making a movie of Portal. We hope that the creation of this will keep the possibility of another really crappy movie video game that is just like, you know, a really shadow of the interpretation of what the movie is.
Basically, you don't want another Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
Or Kung Fu Panda. It would wreck the entire franchise, I think.
It'd put Valve in a really bad light. Because of how often they've been making hit after hit after hit, I think that's something that they should really...
I was gonna say Valve is a phenomenal gaming company. Everything they do is gold. Portal, Half-Life, Team Fortress, it's all awesome. I think it'd be good to have a Portal game on next-gen consoles.
Yes, that's also a big opportunity that they have not taken, is having a game on the next gen.
It would be beautiful.
Of games. Yes.
As far as Portal 3 gameplay, it just needs more deep multiplayer, more deep campaign, some more brain-melting maps, challenges. I think that'd be good.
Alright, number 4. A Pokemon sandbox. Pokemon console video game that is also a sandbox. You can explore the world in either a third-person or first-person view. Now, Pokemon is this video game series developed by Game Freak and Creatures Incorporated, at least in the start with Red and Blue, which is what I'm going over with the history of it, and published by Nintendo. It was first released in 1996 in Japan for the Game Boy, and it continues with each new generation of Nintendo handhelds. It's pretty much almost like the flagship of any.
It's a staple. Pokemon's a staple.
Yes, exactly.
It's probably the biggest game franchise right now. It's huge. It's always been huge.
With the discussion of said past, I would like to really talk about their future, which is if they were to create the sandbox, which is a third or first person view, it would definitely, without a doubt, be a huge hit. It's something that they definitely should have been easily able to make. And this is also something that a lot of fans are waiting for.
Yeah, it'd be really successful. And they could definitely fund it. It's not like they just can't afford it.
Yeah, and not only that, the Pokemon universe would have a huge... It would give you much more world immersion when playing in a sandbox version of this game universe.
You would feel even more like a Pokemon trainer.
Yes, exactly. And not only that, the gameplay would be much more in depth.
I was getting ready to ask, do you think the gameplay as far as battles go, should it stay pretty traditional or really change it up?
I feel that it should stick to its roots quite a bit. Pretty much make when the battle sequences happen, make it go into how you saw it in Pokemon Stadium.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you see everything. But there could be some possibilities for some interesting new ideas for how the battles go. But sadly, they're probably never gonna they're never gonna do this because they're too into their formula. They're used to shipping pretty much the same thing over and over again, just changing how it looks a little bit. Oh, new Pokemon, new art style, new everything.
Right, but it works.
It's all,
it works for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it works great. And in fact, it's still extremely fun to play. But
Some
man,
20 odd years later.
Oh yeah, but man, would it blow some brains if they did this.
I think so, yeah. I think it'd be pretty nuts. I would pre-order it instantly.
As would I, yes.
Alright, so number 3 is a Fable game that can fix Fable. Fable came out in 2004, followed by Fable 2 in 2008, and Fable Pub Games, and then Fable 3 in 2010. Fable Heroes and Fable The Journey both came out in 2012, and that's part of the reason Fable needs a new game. Those games were atrocious.
Yes,
and then there were talks of another Fable game, Fable Anniversary, but then they canceled it, and Lionhead Studios closed down, and that's all there was to Fable.
I was sad to learn that they went out of business. They were gonna make a new game, like a completely original content, and
like maybe they were just sitting
new.
low key, but I was pretty surprised Lionhead shut down, because like I'm always excited for like every Fable game. Like I love Fable, but that's why it needs fixed.
Yes, to have a game studio pick it up and then bring it to its old glory, or even to new heights.
We need a new Fable game, I think, because like I think Fable 1 and Fable 2 are obviously like some of the best games ever made. A lot of fun, sunk a lot of hours into them. And Fable 3, pretty weak. Definitely not as bad as Fable Heroes.
I'm really curious as to how you could sync Fable. You know, like Fable should have been like.
Oh, it was so strong, yeah.
Yeah.
Fable
Fable
was so strong, and then Fable 2 came, and it was just as good, and it was better probably. And then Fable 3 is it's a game, like it kept Fable on the rails, right? It wasn't a backward step.
No.
But then with Fable Heroes and Fable The Journey, they sunk it. Those games, they sunk a strong franchise. That's how bad they were.
Yeah, I don't even know why they put so much funding into a Kinect game in the first place.
Right, the Kinect features were not good. None of it was good. It was clunky. And then Fable Anniversary had a lot of hype, but it was basically Fable. It really didn't add anything, I think, to the Fable experience.
But yeah, right now there should be definitely a Fable game, and it's crazy that there isn't. And like on the new consoles, it would be something amazing to have. And
oh yeah, it would be incredible, because Fable 1 was a beautiful game, and that game was on Xbox, the original Xbox. And then Fable 2 was a really pretty game on the 360. So, I mean, me personally, I would like for it to be multi-console, especially if another developer picks it up. You would think it would be.
Yes. Now let's discuss what studio we would actually feel very comfortable with picking it up.
Okay. I think as an old Fable fan myself, I would buy in immediately. I would want this game immediately if it's a direct continuation of Fable 3.
I would even love it if it was a prequel. Yeah, if it was a prequel, I would even love it. Because before Fable 1, maybe you follow the footsteps, you play as, the main character's mother, who is apparently an extremely legendary hero.
Oh yeah, that would be good. That would be a good story. That's what it needs. It needs a good story. It needs to be more open world, I think. Fable, it's probably the only downfall of the game. It's an on the rails open world RPG, and it holds your hand a lot.
Yeah, I know.
It was all this other stuff. You could buy your own businesses and make friends with any NPC in the game. It was very immersive. If it's a sequel, the whole franchise just needs a game that can cap it off and kind of put the lid on and close it. just a really good ending.
Yeah, a lot of the Fable players would like to probably have closure with this game.
That's what. Yeah, you want, because like it's insane that it started off so strong and so popular, and then boom, out of nowhere, it's like awful. Like it's a joke now, and yeah, like you need a game to fix it. So for number 2, we have a Samurai Jack game. Okay, some backstory. Samurai Jack is a throwback anime. It only has one video game in the whole franchise. It's Shadow of Aku, and I think it came out on the GameCube.
Yes,
And
it did.
it was really bad. It got like a 5 out of 10 from IGN, just really bad.
Really?
Yeah, it was almost a dumpster fire. It was a pretty poor game. And other than that, there's really nothing for Samurai Jack in terms of video games. It's there's nothing really in the works either. There's no rumors. It's pretty dead.
Well, with the revival of the series in Adult Swim, there might be a new Samurai Jack. If it takes off, if it's popular, there might be the emergence of a possible Samurai Jack game.
Right, I think if the anime takes off, the new anime coming out, if that's solid, a game could really piggyback on that, and it would be successful.
Yes, as long as they immerse you in the world, because they have an amazing world in Samurai Jack.
Oh yeah, it's deep. It's fun to learn about. It's really underrated in my opinion.
Yeah,
And
you have
it
this
doesn't
amazing
get talked
world,
about
and
enough.
so you couldn't you have this amazing world, and so you couldn't mess up a hack and slash with a character in a world like that. You have this amazing character, you have this amazing world, make it work. It shouldn't be that hard.
Right, Samurai Jack he's a badass. Like, he's been through a lot. He'd be really cool main character, I think. And then yeah, as far as gameplay, make it a hack and slash, open world hack and slash, kind of like God of War.
Yes.
And it's like they already have the plot there to make the game, right? Just make Aku the bad guy. And make a great bad guy. I think Aku is genuinely twisted and evil.
Yes. Sadly, the original voice actor passed away like years ago.
Yeah.
Other than I would love it to have it as its own standalone story arc. Something that doesn't really tear
Again,
at
it wouldn't.
the
You
tear
wouldn't
at
want it to follow the anime.
Not too much, no. You know how in certain episodes there are sort of minor bad guys that Jack has to deal with.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like that robot that was pretty much like those basket robots that were
Yes.
pretty much shinobi assassins that were designed to handle Samurai Jack. And so events like that, you can revolve a whole game around a story arc like that, like a big main bad guy that is really popular and in the new series, and then have him as the main antagonist in that game series, so as to not push, because you need an ending. You need something that gives you
That's true. That's a good point.
A good conclusion for the end of the game, because if it follows the actual anime or cartoon,
Well, the anime
it
takes place years after the original anime.
so yeah, it could
So,
take place in the 60 years, before
The
it
game
actually
could
starts.
take place in the gap, yeah, and that would be really good.
Yeah, that's perfect, because we don't want to somehow cause plot holes in the anime. We don't want to, you know, just
Right.
sort of keep it separate and, you know, its own arc, and it'll be the designers will be able to have full reins on creativity, and that's what I would like to see, very much so.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, now, honorable mentions.
Yeah, we have some honorable mentions.
A Last of Us sequel.
And Battlefield Bad Company 3.
Because the Bad Company games are just awesome as fuck.
Oh yeah, I could play Bad Company 1 and 2 all day. Same thing with The Last of Us. I can just replay that game all the time. Basically, they need to do a Last of Us sequel with Ellie as the main character. When she's grown, that would just be great.
Yes. Now to reveal our number one pick.
Number 1, man. I'm so excited.
Number 1. Legends of Dragoon. Either a remake or a sequel.
Yeah.
Now, Legend of Dragoon was pretty much in the heyday of PlayStation, when PlayStation was, you know, at its peak. It was launched in December 2nd, December 2nd in 1999. It was published by Sony Entertainment, and it was a role-playing game. It was a formation, turn-based role-playing game. It was very popular. There was a huge fan base. It was slotted to have many sequels because of how successful it was going. It had a huge immersive world, but due to the fact that the main character slightly looked too much like pretty much Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, Square Enix decided to sue and pretty much destroyed financially the company, and they ended up going under. They were already in the process of starting a sequel, but were not able to do so because of the actions of Square Enix. Squaresoft at the time, the future of that game was, the door was pretty much bolted shut now.
Now, in all fairness, I think The Legend of Dragoon is very similar to Final Fantasy VII, but Legend of Dragoon had it put its own spin on the genre. It had great combat, I think, with the button combos.
It wasn't too similar because one, the universe was completely different. Like Final Fantasy VII was sci-fi mostly, and then here it's all medieval lore. And also in Final Fantasy VII they used like monsters to fight with, you know, in materia, and then here they had the dragoon forms. And also the gameplay was extremely different. You know, we had the timing-based attacks with the button pressing to do all these link moves, link-up moves, and that was extremely different. The only thing that I've researched on why they sued them, the only thing is that the main character had blonde spiky hair and had a great sword.
That wouldn't be my first guess because I don't think they're that similar.
Yeah, I agree, but that's what's going on here. It's because the main character was too much alike. And back then, you know, you could almost sue, like, there wasn't as many laws on what you could and couldn't sue for. And due to the, like, that, like, George Lucas sued Battlestar Galactica over the fact that they would say, let God be with you, like, when the fighters left the starships. And because of that, he said it was too much like may the force be with you, may God be with you, because they had like a priest on the ship who would pray for them every time the fleets leave.
That sounds like something George Lucas would do.
Yeah, and so that was what the courtroom was like back then, and that's why Squaresoft was able to get away with what they did, and if they tried that now, no, it wouldn't have worked at all, because there are plenty of turn-based games that pretty much are a lot alike to each other now. It's so much so that, you know, maybe somebody should have sued somebody else because of it, but no, it's not that anymore. And because of the immense storyline and characters, everything that was to perfection, we desperately believe that this would be a great game to be either remade.
Oh yeah, I think if they, if this had an official announcement, I would cry. I would tear up.
Yes, that's what I like. Like, we know a lot of people who dearly love this game.
Do you think this game is better than Final Fantasy VII?
That is a tough thing.
Because
they're both.
Like, it's widely implied that Final Fantasy VII is the best game ever, but I think this game competes, and it's very under the radar, especially to younger, the younger gamers. Like, they just don't know about it, and it's a shame.
Yes, I agree. There's a whole new generation of gamers who have no idea about this game, have no clue of it, and I agree completely. And they are definitely compete. Like, they are definitely competitors.
Now a lot of people will say Final Fantasy VII, but like Legend of Dragoon will compete in every way. Like, I think it's as good, virtually a tie.
I definitely think they have a better main character. I think the main character, Dart, is way better than Cloud. Like, he had more personality.
Oh, Dart is really cool. Yeah, he had a lot of personality. You see him go through go through a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you see him go through a lot of stuff.
Do you think they could publish another Legend of Dragoon game? Do you think they could afford it?
Well, it's definitely still owned. Or at least, owned by Sony Computer Entertainment, and they still make games, and quite good ones too. So
Sony has this great habit now of getting smaller companies to do games for them. Sony will publish these games, and it's like they'll hire studios like Japan Studio, who did Knack. They'll get somebody in there like that. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, and lately they've been making digital formats of the game and launching it on their PlayStation Store. And hopefully, any of those purchases might go to the consideration of Sony making a remake or a sequel to said game.
I would be excited for either a remake or a sequel, and maybe even a prequel. Either way, I'd buy the game either way.
Well, here's our top 5, and I hope you all agree with it and enjoyed our discussion. All right, I think we're done, Bill.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's turn off our recordings.
Alright, yeah, let me
1,
save
2,
mine.
3.
Save mine.